Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm back again, and as promised, I'm updating Pia Nalaar Chief Mechanic today. As you probably know, I did this as one of the first cards I covered from Aetherdrift, and I did say I would go back at some stage and update it once the full set was released and I'd had a look through some more of the cards. Now, in the link down below, you can find the original deck list and the new updated deck list. So bear that in mind when you look at the deck lists down below in the description. But for those of you who haven't been here before, Pia Nalaar, Chief Mechanic, green, blue and red for a 2/4 legendary creature human artificer. Whenever one or more artifact creatures you control deal combat damage to play, you get 2 energy counters. And then at the beginning of your end step, you may pay 1 or more energy. And if you do, create an XX colourless vehicle artifact token named Nalaar Aetherjet with flying and crew 2, where X is the amount of energy spent this way. What we're aiming to do with this deck is build up a whole load of energy, make a whole load of big vehicles, and then crew them up and basically fly through the air and smack people in the head. That was the aim with the original deck, and it's still the aim now. But with the full release, and I've been through the cards and I've looked at things, there's a couple of ones I missed out in the original deck. This is a fully updated version of Pia Nalaar. So here we go. Here's what today's deck really does look like. So in the beginning, Pia Nalaar is obviously here, but then we've still got 34 creatures in the deck, and most of them are artifact creatures that will help us generate that energy we need. So Hangerback Walker's still here. We pay the double X and get a whole load of fairly big artifact creature, hopefully a construct. And then when it dies, we get all those nice colourless Thopter tokens. So, you know, we get ways of flying through the air and dealing damage that way. Then we have Haywire Might. That's also in. Still needs to take out those annoying non-creature, non-artifacts and enchantments that are annoying us. Enthusiastic Mechanaut still in to cut the cost of our artifact spells down. Ethereum Skelter to cut them down. Then first one of the energy payouts. Servant of the Conduit, a little bit of ramp. Gives us a couple of energy that comes into play, so we like this. Steel Overseer just chucks around +1/+1 counters on our creatures. Architect for the Untamed, we drop land, we gain energy. You know what it does by now. Breyer's Apprentice is also in to give us a Thopter when it comes into play, and then we can sack an artifact if we need to and choose one. Exile the top card of our library, or target creature gets +2/+0 until the end of turn. Ethereum Spinner comes in. Whenever you cast a mana value 4 or greater, get a 1/1 colourless Thopter artifact creature token with flying, which helps us out, no end. We have Foundry Inspector to cut the cost down even more. Junk Diver is also in to return things when it dies to our hand. So, you know, get our artifacts back that have been killed off before this and just put them back in our hand, ready to play again. Pima, Trailblazer, comes in as well. Now, this is one of the new cards that comes in from the Commander deck itself that Pia Nalaar's the backup Commander for. 2 and a green for a 3/3 Elephant Warrior. When this creature deals combat damage to a player, you get that many energy. So if you don't do the next bit, you just get 3 if you get the whole damage through. But you can exhaust him by paying 6 energy and put 2 +1/+1 counters on them, and then draw cards equal to the greatest power amongst creatures you control. Now, if this is the only creature you have in play when you pay the 6 energy, then you're going to draw 5. It's not a bad deal at the end of the day, but it can get better. Rogue Refiner just gives us a couple of energy in a card draw. Again, still in the original deck I did. Same with Scrap Trawler. When this or another artifact put in a graveyard, you may return one with lesser mana value to your hand. It still works, still there. Right, another one of the new cards. Stride Hanger Automaton. 3 mana for a 1/4 construct. Pumps all our Thopters up that we're going to be generating by +1/+1. And then if one or more artifact tokens would be created under your control, we get an additional Thopter with it. So, as well as being good in this deck, I think it's going to turn up in a lot of decks that rely on treasure counters, clue tokens, so on and so forth. So we're going to keep it going and see what happens. Synth Eradicator comes in from Fallout still. That's still here for the couple of energy. Then we can pay 3 energy to Lightning Bolt something if we need to. Whirler Virtuoso gives us 3 energy, then a way of using our energy to generate Thopters to generate more energy, which obviously get bigger with the Automaton in play. Workshop Assistant is also in. Another way of returning artifacts to our hand when this dies off, but that can be any value of artifacts. So late game card, very good. Solemn Sim to help us fix our mana base. Kildultha Forge Master still here to sacrifice off 3 and go and get a better artifact out of our library and into the battlefield. Lightning Runner comes in and stays in as well. Double strike haste. When it attacks, you may pay 2 energy. Then you may pay 8 energy. If you do, well, you get 2 energy. Then you can pay 8. And if you do, you get an extra combat step. Nice. Multiform Wonder still in as well. Gets 3 energy when it comes into play. Then we can pay 1 to do Flying, Vigilance or Lifelink, or pay 1 to do the +2, -2, or -2, +2, depending on what we want to do and what we need at the time. Rampaging Aetherhood also comes in. This again comes in from the Living Energy deck. Trample on Wall 2. So 5 mana for a 4/4 with Trample on Wall 2. Yeah, okay. We can cope with that as a kind of way of looking at things. But at the beginning of your upkeep, you get an amount of energy equal to this creature's power. And if you pay, then you may pay 1 or more energy. If you do, put that many +1/+1 counters on this creature. Now, Wall 2 is fairly still complicated to get rid of, I'll be honest, but if you can pay a couple of energy into this each turn, or just sink a whole load in, getting that extra energy count is really nice, to be honest. Rootwire Amalgam stays in as well to give us that Golem artifact creature token if we need it to. Where X is 3 times the power of it, it gains haste until the end of turn, activate and use a sorcery. So, if we pay this for 5, have our 5/5, and then pay 5 to sack it off, yeah. Not bad to get a 15/15 for 10 mana. Cope with that with haste. Shame, the only downside is it doesn't have trample. But, it's 15/15 at the end of the day. It's going to be really hard for people to deal with. Behemoth of Vault Zeros also comes in from Fallout still. Comes into play, we get the 4 energy. And then when it dies, you may pay any amount of energy to blow something up. Combustible Gearhulk, just for some card draw. Ethereum Sorcerer, just so we can cascade things into play and return it back to our hand. I still like this as an artifact creature in the deck, and the cascade ability helps even more now. Kappa Cannoneer is also in to do the whole improvising trick with a ward 4 and then gets bigger. And Territorial Aetherkite also comes in from the Precon deck. Flying in haste. When this creature enters, you get 2 energy. You may then pay 1 or more. And when you do, this creature deals that much damage to each other creature. It's a very effective board wipe if you've got a massive amount of energy lying around and you need to clear the board out when you play this. Yes, you lose your creatures, but we'll cope with that. Wormcoil Engine still here for the Death Touch, Lifelink, 3/3s when it dies, we know the score. Along with Mere Battlesphere to give us those little Mere tokens when it comes into play. It's lovely if you've got the Stride Hanger or Tormenting. You also get Thopter as well when you play this. So, yeah, good for me. Good for you. Phyrexian Triniform, still love it. Still going to die off. Still going to get our 3/3 golems. And then we're going to encore it at some stage and end up with a whole load more. Skitterbeam Battalion stays put. I do like the idea of having a couple of extra token copies of it for 9 mana. Yes, it's expensive, but it's 9 mana for 12 power. Yeah, we can cope with that. It's not the end of the world. And finally, Triplicate Titan is also back in as well to make sure that we can hopefully get this to work at some stage. I would like it to. Spells-wise, nothing's really changed here. We've still got Attune with Ether. Here we go. And tune the narrative so we get the energy. Harness Lightning to do some damage when we cast it with the energy. Nature's Law, 3 visits for the ramp. Wheel of Pretension for the let's do the card draw. Now I'm hoping, I've practiced this deck a little bit now, and actually having 7 mana, like 7 energy lying around to do this with, actually is not too bad. So bear that in mind. Glimmer of Genius, scry 2, draw 2, 2 energy, still here, and Blasphemous Act for that overall board control. Artifacts, a couple of changes here. Well, one change definitely. The ramp's still here with Mox Tantalite, Soul Talisman, Elixir of Immortality to shuffle everything back in when it goes pear-shaped. Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Decoction Module, nothing really here's changed. Emerald Medallion, Puzzle Knot. But this is a new one I've added into this take on the deck. Is it Generatorum? If you get 1 or more energy, you get that much energy +1. And then you can draw a card, activate it if you only paid or lost 4 or more energy this turn. Now, spending energy in this deck isn't an issue. So drawing an extra card every so often is going to be good. But we like the idea of this just to get that extra energy on the go. The other 2 medallions, Ruby and Sapphire here. Solar Transformer stays in from previous as well. Another way of just getting some colourless mana ramp on the go. And then if we do need to pay the extra mana, we can do. Woodweaver's Puzzle Knot for more energy and life gain. Phyrexian Ironworks, because, you know, whenever you attack you can get an energy, and pay 3 to get the colourless golem creature if you need it. Aetherworks Marvel stays put along with Stone Idol Generator. But we have gone in for Ether Conduit now, Aetherflux Conduit. I think a lot of people have been really excited about this card. Paying 50 energy and drawing 7 and having that omniscience ability for a turn sounds difficult, but when the Aetherflux Conduit is giving you the mana, the energy when you cast a spell equal to the mana value, getting to 50 energy is not that hard. It's really not. We've also kept in the portal to Phyrexia, because I do want a way to control, get rid of some of the more annoying creatures. Yes, they may sacrifice off small stuff when you get there, but if they do, they do, and that's the end of it, so we'll worry about it later. Enchantments wise, we have got a couple of new ones that I didn't have in the original deck. One of them is a complete oversight, I'll be honest about it, and one of them, yeah, I did a little bit more digging around. And Era of Innovation, which I completely forgot about from the original Kaladesh set. Whenever an artifact or an artificer enters the battlefield under your control, you can pay 1. If you do, you get 2 energy. So up in the casting cost of your artifacts and things by 1. But with the cost reducers you've got, you should still have the money, mana sitting around to pay the one to get the energy. Likewise, paying off the 6 to sacrifice it and draw 3 cards isn't the end of the world either if you get stuck with nothing in your hand. Finally, Ether Construction still stays here. Cast an artifact spell, we get Thopter. Thopter Spy Network is the card I was talking about. I completely forgot about this card in the original deck. I'm going to be honest about it. This should have been in here from the start. How I missed it when I was building the original deck, I have no idea. But, you know, getting some being of upkeep, as long as we control an artifact, we get a Thopter. And then when our artifact creatures deal damage, which we're trying to do with this deck a lot, drawing cards is going to be helpful. Final one, the Vault 112 Sadistic Simulation is still here as well. So we're keeping that in from Fallout. And the land base really hasn't changed that much at all. We're still running the lands that we had before. I'll point out still Helios 1 to pay 1 and get an energy if we can. We've got the Wolf Run in here to make sure we can give our creatures trample if we need to get that extra damage in at the end. We've still got all the sack lands, the dual lands, the usual selection of things you'd expect to see in a deck such as this. But that's it. That is the latest take on Pia Nalaar Chief Mechanic. I would expect this is one of those decks I'm going to put in my classic decks going on, so I can't imagine energy will be forgotten by Wizards anytime soon, so I'm expecting we're going to see it a lot more in the future. Sorry if I've looked a bit weird doing this video in the picture of me. Had a few monitor issues over the last couple of days. We have a new monitor in and I've had to change this up about, so getting used to doing videos this way around for a little while. But for now, I hope you've enjoyed the deck. Please, if you can, there's 610 of you subscribed here. I'd love it if you could hit the subscribe button that's showing up down below. Come and give me a follow over on Twitch. I will be playing Pia Nalaar on a stream this week at some stage. So you'll see that. Go and do that. Go and do the bell notification things. You'll know when I go live on Twitch. And you'll be able to come and watch me play it. But for now, I hope you've appreciated the update. If there's still anything I've missed, let me know in the comments down below. I am quite happy to keep revising Pia Nalaar, so I just think it's a great deck. But for now, thanks for watching. Take care. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.